Namaste and welcome to Soul Family. This is a video about what happens after a spiritual awakening, the process or the life after spiritual awakening. Let's get into this. There are kinds of spiritual awakening. There are many kinds of spiritual awakening. Or we can say spiritual awakening or a state of samadhi or enlightenment or nirvana or satori or whatever you can call it. And in these states, um, in yogic terms, there are 8 kinds of states of samadhis. There are 10 kinds, but let's talk about the first 8. The first 8 are divided into 2. The first 4 in those 8, you'll experience glimpses of what enlightenment is, glimpses of what samadhi is, glimpses of the other side. So, but your habits would be intact. You'll go there, you'll experience it. Maybe those experiences might come back to you like regularly. I would say, in a sense, it'll take time. It'll take time for them to become like you're entering that space of samadhi or enlightenment or that deep bliss in your meditations. That will take time, but in the first 4 you can go there and you'll come back again and you're into your old life, but your life will change with the wisdom you found in the first 4 levels of enlightenment or spiritual awakening. The next 4 is the one where you dissolve. There is no you to say that okay, my person of me is experiencing this. How can I say this? There is no personality which is experiencing the samadhi or the enlightenment. You will become the enlightenment itself. That's when the seeking and the seeker will become one or dissolve. There is no seeker, there is no seeking. It'll dissolve completely. It'll become into like one. So that's when you were not your body anymore in your experience at the time, because you are everything, and everything which is existing and which you can see and also not see in the entire cosmos. You will become that. That's when you can't get back to your old habits again. That is called the Sahaja Samadhi. And the other 4 kinds of the second group of a spiritual awakening. The 4 second group, the 4 awakenings in the second group. That's when you will permanently stay in the state. But many people have experiences where they see glimpses, like me. I've seen how it feels like to be enlightened. What is enlightenment? What does it feel like? I've seen what it is. I've experienced it. But it's not permanent because it's in the first 4 sections. And I'm very happy that whatever I've seen and experienced, and I'm really thankful for that, because it's kind of like it'll happen once in many lifetimes. And I shouldn't take it that easy, or anyone who experienced it. It's like a seed, we need to nurture it, because you can forget too, like if you get yourself into so busy kind of situation in life, and like you're occupied with so many things. I'm hearing a lot of disturbance from the traffic. Give me a moment here. I want to um, close the window. I'm seeing the traffic going on. Sorry about that. I just have to like shut the window. I mean, it's kind of like making. I could hear all the noises and kind of like traffic passing by. So yeah. So the 8 kinds of it is the one that the second group, or the ones once they entered it, you're totally dissolved. Your entire personality of who you think you were, that is completely dissolved into the cosmos, into that source of creation's energy, into your soul. You became your soul. Your soul is experiencing itself that it is the soul. And when that happens, there is no return. There is no point of return from that. You are completely into it. There is no like coming back from that. You can't be like unaware again. You can't be like unenlightened again. Once you have that experience, you can't come back again. So the final 2, the last 2, which completes the 10 of these awakenings or states of samadhi, those 2 you will experience when you are dying, when you're leaving the body. It's been said that when Buddha was leaving his body, he did it in a very beautiful way. He asked people that if they have any questions, and everyone was in shock that he's leaving his body, he's dying, and with certain kind of godly like personality, he's dying, and it's so hard for them to see him die, first of all, because he can change his thing if you want to, and no enlightened master will change, even though they have the power to change their body, because their realization is so strong. Buddha is his intensity is so deep down into the atom, he can change stuff if he wants to. So, but he didn't. And the people who saw him leaving his body enlightened right there. There's this few of his disciples who were watching the process of him leaving the body, got enlightened right there. And because the other two you can't control it. The other 2 is like it's just out of our hands. So the other 2 kinds of experiences we'll have when it's the process of you leaving your body and completing your life and death cycle. It's finished. That's it. You can't take a rebirth anymore after that. So the purpose of your life is fulfilled. And so that happens after that. So these are the 10 kinds of spiritual awakenings, or kind of like enlightenment process, I would say. So from the yogic culture, this is from yogic culture or from Buddhism, or you can take it from anywhere. It's like this is the foundation, or this is the work of many masters from thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So this is their work, and this is their gift to us, so that we could reach that stage. And the first 4 are the ones we experience in general if we go down a little deeper in your meditation, or sometimes it'll happen automatically. Sometimes it might happen while having a deep sexual experience with deep intimacy with someone. There are many things it'll trigger, not just only in like if you felt this deep love for someone, without even you knowing why you're feeling it in that moment, it might happen. There are many situations you will have like few seconds of glimpses into it. But with meditation, you will observe the process of what is really going on, because this is a state where if you had this awakening, spiritual awakening or samadhi or satori or the glimpse of the other side, whatever you might call it, if you had this with meditation, you are aware of what's going on in your body. You are aware of the changes which are happening in the body bit by bit, because unless you are totally relaxed, your body is almost sleeping when you're having the state of samadhi experience. It's like a conscious sleep, really conscious. You are utterly super aware of how relaxed your body is. Like it's like you fell into sleep, but very consciously. You are just aware of this intensely aware of what's going on, but your body is sleeping. This is how samadhi feels like. So when this happens with the meditation, this is the process. There were many kinds of people had many kinds of experiences and had like tiny glimpses, like a few seconds to few minutes and whatever. But that's also enough. Some people with psychedelics, and some people with herbs, or some people with anything that might be. It's kind of how the trigger happens. We don't know unless you have a conscious process in place, like meditation or yoga or something, and a practice. If there is no practice, then we don't even know that we've seen the other side of the glimpse. It'll be like an experience, and you'll be in your own zone again. But once you're conscious about it, once you've seen it really consciously, even a tiny glimpse will relieve you from a lot of things you're holding from many lifetimes. So this is a process which will happen in the start. And so initially, once you come out of this, because it's like an aha moment, you'll be like in the La La Land. I would say this is a spiritual La La Land. not a relationship loving La La Land. This is a spiritual, real La La Land. But still, it's a La La Land too, because everything is amazing. All of a sudden, you have this perception change, and you'll be like, "Wow, what is this? What am I really feeling? What all these things I'm seeing?" And how your entire experience of how you're experiencing your reality will completely change. The way you see a flower will change. It will make a vibrance in your body when you see it. So it's like you distinctly feel that. So this awareness will begin enhancing, and your sensitivity of the body will improve a lot. You can pick up a lot of energies which are good or also bad if you're not aware of it. There's so many things will happen after awakening, and things will come slow. If we are having glimpses, then you will have some bad times too, in the sense your habits and your old way of thinking is not permanently removed. It's not like gone completely. It is still there. So it's not this sahaja samadhi. Samadhi is you're rooted in that experience. It'll take time for us to happen. So for Buddha, it took him 12 years to remain in that state and to get enlightened. 12 years of intensity. Buddha is very intense. So that's the second part of the 8 states of spiritual awakening I've explained. But when we get to this point, there is so much stuff which happens which we can't articulate. The words can't justify the experiences you're having. It is so intense that the beauty will shock you. First of all, it's like it's so shocking, and after that, it's like you don't know where to begin explaining it to yourself and also to other people, because it is so utterly beautiful that you're lost in the beauty, in a good way, in a very good way, because you've never seen that kind of beauty before, which is alive inside you and throbbing inside you and all around you. And we, in normality, in the busy life we had after taking birth, we just didn't see all that. Like, we're so caught up in our own stories and egos and all that. But with awakening, it'll make you very normal. A spiritual awakening is when your ego is moved from you aside, then you'll become so normal. The hype you had of who you are, that'll just go. So then you have to be very ordinary to see the extraordinariness in the nature. So this will become very evident. Slowly, it'll get to a point where you could see all these things. Yeah, this is one side of what happens after awakening. There will be health issues, I would say. It's not like issues, but your body is changing itself. Your body is adjusting. There will be cravings. If your body is, you had meat since you were a child, you were a meat-fed kind of person where your family ate meat, And awakening is a whole different thing. It'll change the whole thing. I mean, you'll become a vegetarian or a vegan or whatever your awakening energy of your awakening will guide you to which practice you have to do, and it'll guide you. You can't like follow someone when you say you're awakening. It'll lead you. You have to trust your own energy when it's awakening. And I want to say this for for my own satisfaction, that this channel is for people who are having an awakening, or closer to an awakening, or had an awakening, because there are few kinds of people who land on this channel. So the people who see that I've seen something, they don't know it yet, but they're drawn to it because they are closer to that in their own life and they want it for themselves. That's how I met many people when I was camping a few weeks ago in a foresty kind of area, and like they were drawn to me. And there are a few people who came to me, and I just finished my meditation in my morning outside, and like it feels really good, and I'm taking my fresh breath, and it was good. And there were a few people who just drawn to me. They were talking to me like, who are you, man? I mean, your energy is just pulling me. So when that happens, it is not me, or it is not, I can't let my ego work here. In the sense, it's not me who is pulling those people to me. The energy within me and also within him is the same. The source of creation is the same within. And I've reached a certain point. He was in his path of reaching that. That's the attraction. That's how this begins. That's how the people who like me so much in my life, who just can't stop listening to me, are the people who are closer to their own awakening, are like the process has began. Only then they can see me. These are the first kind of people who will come, who like me, and like who just want to listen to me more and more every day. The second is the one who want to control me, who want to tell me what I should say in my own channel, in my own life, and what I should do. They'll tell me literally, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't say that. I'm like, they can't understand that I don't let anyone dictate me what I should speak or what I should do in my life. I take full control of my life. I take full responsibility of my actions. I'll take my chances, I'll make my mistakes and learn from it. I'll not let anyone tell me what I should do in my life. I did that. That's the one which caused my own awakening. I was so close to my own death in those situations. So I certainly, there were situations I put certain things in my videos where they come out and try to control what I'm saying. So I wanted to do this so that I have love for the people out, because they can't see what they're doing, because they have this urge to control someone who is challenging to them, someone who is not in sync with what they think what's right and wrong to them, or what their reality is. If that's not matching, they want to control you. They want to control the reality rather than accepting the reality as it is. You only have the strength to control yourself, not the whole world. So I want to teach them a little bit. So I put certain things in certain videos where it'll trigger them. It'll push their buttons when they get compelled to control. But I'm only becoming a mirror to them so that they could see what they're doing. It's out of love. So yeah, and the third ones who are awakened, they can literally see me. When this happens, when the people who are awakened and who are at my stage are a little ahead of me, we become friends so easy, because there is no convincing required. There is no thinking, saying that is this person saying the right thing or wrong thing, or is he like saying the truth or not, or can I believe it or not believe it. These delusions will not be there, because they have experienced what I've experienced. And when we meet, we raise each other's energy above each time. When I meet people who are below me, I try to, whatever I'm explaining it to them, it'll raise their energy a little bit. It's like this energy balance happens. So when both people at the same stage meet, the conversations get so deep and we enrich each other. So these are the three kinds of people I generally attract in my life. Controlling people, the people who who wants to be like me or like reach that point of what I have experienced, and those people. And because for learning is a feminine energy. You have to be very receptive to learn, because we can't see the things if we are not receptive. If you're not receptive enough, we can't. Our ego will not let us learn. We continuously judge the person who is teaching. We will forget all the things. It's like, people have certain kinds of certain ways of teaching themselves and missing the teaching completely. It's not like teaching, but whatever the person is saying and learning from that person, right? So some people judge you by how you look. Some people constantly judge you by how you're saying, and they'll try to find mistakes in your grammar. They do all these things and they miss the whole message, and they only listen to their mind, and the mind is continuously judging, so that they're not focused in whatever the teaching is, whoever the person is teaching, not just me. How do I know this? Because I was like this before. I know how this works. I know how my mind will judge, because the program of how I'm judging someone else is the program how I was judged myself, and also by others in my life, and my parents. That might be anything, especially parents. The way they judge you negatively is also the way you judge other people negatively. These are all the programs. You have to come out of it. But once the awakening happens, it'll show you. Awakening is not easy. So it is a very tough process. It's not funny. It's not comfortable. If it's comfortable, it is not an awakening at all. If it's transformation and awakening is very tough. It's almost like your death happening, and you were so clinging. Your mind is so clinging to your old, and you just can't leave it because it's fearful. And after all this, the lessons come up, and then it's like, oh my God, this is what it is about. So, but that takes time, though. That takes time and patience and all that. So yeah, and once we awaken, we have to take things very slow and easy. No rational, no like fast decisions when we are uncomfortable, or when there will be periods where, even though you had an awakening in the initial stages, there will be many times when you feel lonely, you feel depressed again, you feel like down again, you feel like you're a failure again. It'll come. All these things will come again, till we root down into permanent spiritual awakening. Till that happens in this life, or next life, or tomorrow, or next month, who knows when that happens. So till that point happens, we are here dealing with our things and strengthening ourselves, because every problem will make you very, very intelligent. If you see what a problem is, it will bring you to a certain level of consciousness, and it will raise your consciousness from there. Each and every problem will do it. We have two options. Either we can deal with that problem and be more self-disciplined and educate ourselves, or run away from the problem. Running away will not do anything. It'll pile up the problems. That's all. So this is the part of like when an awakening happens, and slowly it's like the wisdom part of your awakening is there. It's conscious, it's there. Even though you're going through your negative emotions, even though you're going through your life, which is tough, sometimes it's very blissful, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's very blissful, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's like very, very clear, and the clarity is amazing, and you are in this fearless zone for weeks and months or days. Then you'll fall back again. Then there will be downtime again. Try to learn from the downtime. When you reach a certain clarity, and you're seeing that everything is clear in your life, and you're like, oh my God, it feels so good right now. Like, finally I'm here. That will not last for like long. It might be like, it depends. For some people it might be like a month. Some people it might be like 6 months, 1 year, a week, 1 day. We don't know about it. But anyways, once we get down to the bottom again, then that's the time you feel and you know that nothing is permanent. There is no feeling which is permanent. The feelings, ups and downs will come and go, but we inside our consciousness that thing which is experiencing all these things is always the same. It never changes. It has no beginning and no end. So, but we are only having the glimpse of it. There will be a time we will be like permanent in that. But till that happens, be patient. Be patient with your awakening. It is not something to rush. It is not something to. I took many years like to say that I had a Kundalini experience. I will take 5 more years to firmly say that this is a Kundalini experience I had. Because it is, I know that, but still I want to take time. I don't want to rush this, and I don't want it to be happening so fast. I want to slow down this thing because I did right now. Because it's intense. It's very intense. I mean, I'm having all this joy and everything. It is amazing to be in this zone of clarity and fearlessness, because when I had my samadhi experience, when I had my glimpse into this awakening, I've experienced what fearlessness is for the very first time in my life. I have no idea what it feels like to be completely fearless, at least for a moment. So I was in that state for I don't know how many hours or minutes, but it showed me how I can really be and what am I missing in my life. And the decisions I take from all the decisions I took in my life before my awakening was based on fear. It is based on fear of survival. All the fears come, it's the root that'll come to that survival thing, because it's been fed to us. You need to have good education, otherwise you're not going to live happy. You need to have money, otherwise you're not going to live happy. You need to have health care, otherwise you'll be worried with your health. All these things are being fed to us, and it piled up, and the ground of all the decisions we make is the ground of fear. So once I experienced my glimpse, I've experienced what being fearlessness means really. Because in the state of samadhi, it's like a death. It's like my own death happened there. And enlightened people are already dead. The people who you think who are enlightened are already dead. They just made a choice to be here to help you guys. They are fearless. So this is one of the thing happens, and that wisdom, when we seen this awakening, wherever the awakening happened, and that deeper wisdom is there, it'll guide you. It'll take time to move all these processes, and there will be many pitfalls. Once we are awakened, it is not like once you're awakened you can just say that I'm enlightened. We can say this. It's not like that unless we root down in it. So the process is happening, let it happen as it is. Just surrender to that. If it's like you're in a good mood and like everything is going amazing, like flawless, be grateful for that. When things are going down, be grateful for that too. Learn to be grateful when things are going down in your life, because that's where our foundation is. That's where we become stronger. That's where we introduce ourselves to what being in grace really is. Because being grateful and they say attitude is gratitude. Attitude of gratitude is from the ego part of the mind. That sentence was born from the ego part of the mind, because it want to satisfy itself that it has the attitude of gratitude, and it'll demand respect from other people who are listening to that and seeing that whatever the thing you're saying at the time. It is the game of the mind. So cultivating gratitude and cultivating gratefulness, or things to be grateful for, there are practices you do in the morning. You get up and you say, I'm grateful for this today, I'm grateful for that today. That will work in a way. I'm not objecting to this. But the thing is, if you experienced what really being in gratitude is and what really being in grateful is, you would never have to say, there would not be any chance for you to say that you are grateful for these things, you are grateful for those things, and I have gratitude for you, I have that for you. You would never have to say that again, because every moment you live is in gratitude. Every breath you take is a gift. you are in that mode, then how many will you list? There is no end for the list. It's like there is no, you're living that experience, because being in gratitude and being in the mode of gratefulness is not a practice, it is a realization. Once you realized it, you can't even say anything, because there is no need to. I can assure you that the moment you really enter the state of gratefulness, you will not have words to speak. You lose the words. You can't talk at the time. You can't say a word, because it is so pure that you can't name it. You can't just say that I'm grateful for an apple. You just can't. That doesn't matter there. So I just wanted to say, when people say that, hey, I'm practicing this and that, it's like, you can't practice it. This is not something you practice. You can say it verbally. It's like, the people who are, I'm grateful for this, and they have a certain way of saying it, and they like saying it. They say things like that because it's kind of like it became like an attitude, right? This is a play of the words. We're just playing with words and like making it a little fancy about whatever we are grateful of, whenever we say it. It's just a wordplay of the mind, and we attach a certain. The mind will attach a certain emotion to that, so that we'll think that is real. So anyway, this is my take on it. I just want to explain this thing. And yeah, after awakening process is not easier too. There will be ups and downs in this too, because there will be moments of clarity, there will be moments of confusion. It'll go like this. But draw the energy from your deeper part. Draw the energy. You sit down with yourself and allow yourself to feel what you feel in, and trust yourself. Trust your gut. Whatever your gut is telling you, give it a chance. Give it a chance to tell you. It's like, sometimes it'll make us, this voice comes in and tells you something like, okay, why don't you read this or do that, or you're forgetting this, you might carry that. Whatever your gut is telling you, you stop there and listen to that, because it's your deeper person telling you something. You need to be attentive to that, because out of our own unattention to what our gut is telling us, what our intuition is telling us, all these problems we are creating. Give it a shot. Give it a shot and listen. Let's if people are rushing you and doing something, but you felt something inside which is telling you put everything down. Take a moment with yourself at the time and just listen to it, because it is guiding you. So it took me some time for me to understand this, and there were many things I did not listen when it was telling me. So I can give you an example of this. A good one, actually. I kind of laugh for every situation right now, even though it's good or bad. I think it's kind of like a side effect of awakening. So in trading, I didn't when I was going through my awakening. Before I was going to Vipassana experience, before I was going to do my Vipassana retreat for the 10-day silence retreat, I'm invested in certain things. I do trade online, and it's kind of like all my investments are at the peak, and I needed to take my profit out for the next 2 to 3 years for my living and to pay my bills. All my money is in it. So before going to Vipassana, my intuition right here, it just told me, it's like this gut feeling. It's like this. It's like even like I felt it right here. It just kicked me. It's like a strong heartbeat happened. Like, it's like, oh, what was that? So that told me to take the profit, take my profit, the investment I did, and it told me to take the profit out. But things were very intense at the time, and I'm like, I was not even at the place to log into my computer and just organizing things was so hard at the time. But my intuition told me at the time to take the profit out, because I was at 800% profit. It's 8 times of whatever I've invested. That's a really good return. So, and it's good for 2 to 3 years of my life without doing anything to continue my spiritual practice. But I didn't. I went to Vipassana and I had my samadhi experience and all that. For the cost it had on me for not listening to that, to my intuition, was $600,000. I can't believe this. So I'm like minus 84% down right now. It's like minus 840% off. So I have to wait for the next market cycle so that the prices would go high. That might be like, that might come after 1 year or like 1.5 years or 2 years. I don't know. I don't know when it'll come. So now I'm like at this tight spot. Like life is just squeezing me with finances and stuff, and like, yeah, I've definitely put myself in a very, very tough situation financially. But I have no regrets though. I've experienced what I needed to experience in Vipassana. There is nothing I could compare that to. There is nothing. I have nothing in my life which is comparable to the experience of samadhi I had. It's just uncomparable. It is. There is no way. There is. I don't even think that I can find something. Even if I earn $1 billion, I don't think I could find something which is better than a spiritual awakening or a state of samadhi. There is no comparison to that. So there are no regrets. Things happen, but my intuition told me, my gut told me that you should at least like take 100% profit off and like let the rest of the thing be, so that you are in your profit and you didn't lose any money. But yeah, I should have listened. So so from these things happen, there are many reasons. There are many situations happen in my life where I didn't listen to my own gut feeling. It happened to me a week ago too, with a small tiny thing. It's not a big thing, but still. So that's one of the reason I take time right now, and like I wanted you guys to like remember this. And like when you're having this intuition which is telling you to like listen, just listen to that. At least give it a shot. You do it or not do it, it's a later thing. But when it's telling you, be attentive to what it's telling you. You do it or not do it, it's a later part. But at least you should be able to be aware to listen when that is happening. So yeah, this is what after awakening processes. There are many layers in this, but the video is getting longer, and like I can talk for days about this thing. But it's kind of like we get into this thing and it's happening within me live. So it's that energy just bursts open whenever I speak, and it relieves me from many things. And it's spontaneous too. I don't decide things pre-designed, and like I don't go with that plan. I just decide right when I'm clicking the record button. I think what I want to say and like let's make a video on it. That's about it. So I learned from my own videos, because the best thing I would do is I would not let my mind decide the subject before and let it frame the sentences before. I don't want a framed thing. I want things to be spontaneous, coming out from my own energy center. So then I go back again and I kind of like rewatch my own videos and learn from it. So it's like I am reminding myself. I'm learning from myself while I'm sharing with you guys. So it's kind of like magic to me. So hope you guys are like having a tough time and also a good time with your process of awakening, as both are important, because one is strengthening us, and the other is showing the value of the strength and the experience of the strength. And it's like they're balancing each other, and let it happen the way it happens. There will be moments we'll fall out of the divinity and we'll go back again. It's like this going and coming forth and going. It's kind of like it happens, and things will change. If you had an awakening and there was intense urge for you to eating meat, if you're born in a family and fed yourself meat, you grew up eating meat, that's your body is used to certain kind of energy of the meat and drawing the minerals and things from the meat. That's how you were made. That's how your entire system is made. When an awakening happens, there are times we don't eat meat for many years like I did. I couldn't touch meat for a few years. It's kind of like, it's even now I don't like to eat meat, but it's there will be some moments of intensity. It'll crave for that. So, but I don't want to push it down, because if I push it down, I'm compressing it. It's gonna bulge sometimes. It's gonna blow sometimes. But if your bodies adapt to that and just be easy on yourself and go eat whatever you're desiring to eat at the time, and don't force yourself somewhere, because it is from, let your awakening energy guide you, because even though you had an awakening, and if you eat meat once or twice, you're not going to change anything. You're not doing really wrong here. It's kind of like your body is craving that, because it is built on that system. And meat eating would not be permanent after your awakening. It'll go, but let it go on its own time. It's leaving you, so but your body has to get ready for that. So I understood this thing, and kind of like, do not stress yourself. All the things you compressed so hard that you don't want to eat meat, or you don't want to eat an ice cream, or whatever the thing your food or anything, whatever you pushed it down. Awakening is opening it. It's like it's just opening it to deal with it. So let it just happen and let it go. So it's like once in a while I get this meat craving, like once or twice a year. Then my friend or someone will cook for me, or I just go out or something and just eat it. So it's like after that I will not have that, and it's very rare that I get this kind of meat eating kind of pull once in a while, once or twice a year. And if I suppress it, there's so many things happens in my body, so I've observed it and like let it go. So initial part of your awakening will have these kind of things where your body and your whole system is adjusting to the energy and the newfound reality you had. It has to like upgrade itself to the next level, so that it can handle the consciousness you're feeling, and the wisdom you're experiencing, and the things you're seeing, and the choices you're making in your life. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope my story resonates with you, and hope it helps.